Them Pioneers. This is mjkk613.14. Unofficial. Pie through my eyes. And, I've been trying to kind of put a series together, maybe to try to help understand stuff a little better or whatever. I mean, yes, this is my opinion, and I know my opinion goes against everything most people have learned, that most people are using, the system that most people believe in. That's all it is. It's believing in the system that's in place today. And, it isn't that I don't hear what they're saying about things like supply and demand and all that crap. I just had somebody tell me that right now, currently, Pi has a community of 20 million people. 20 million people. And I was told, because I made kind of about setting Pi value. Yes. Where the value should be. I mean, nobody believes that Pi should be at $100. They believe it's way too much for whatever it is. Yeah. But at $100, everybody in Pi can use Pi. They can use their Pi. They can spend their Pi. They can buy stuff with their Pi. That's why economies that started went to that value. And it is value, but it's not set, so basically it's price. But it's buying power price. And I think what happens when people hear that the $100 that Pi is worth, one Pi is worth $100 a coin, the first thing that it goes through their mind is selling it on the exchange, and because you can understand that the exchange won't list it at $100. No, the exchange, out of the box, the exchange will not list Pi at $100. I won't argue that. They won't. Because they'll look at overall supply, demand, and they'll punch it in their computer and whatever it is, and they're going to come out with a speculated number. And people will buy that speculated number. They're already buying it. I mean, Pi has been speculated on since it started to grow. Man, exchanges are speculation. Whatever value or numbers or price or whatever they put it, it's speculated. And it trades different. The mindset of trading on the exchange is different than running an economy. The bottom line on an exchange, yes, supply and demand. What you're hoping for is supply and demand. You want to create supply and demand. Because you want to buy Pi low. Yeah, you don't have to dig up $100 for Pi, because you won't buy Pi at $100 a Pi. You want to buy Pi at 10 cents a Pi. Let's get down to nuts and bolts. People that are trying to hold it to pump and dump and hold Pi value down to a dime, and they're more and more drifting into the app. All you're trying to do is control the whole pump and dump. That's it. No. Pi is not a pump and dump. But you want to pump and dump so you can buy low, because you know that value is going to come up and you're going to sell it when it goes up. And you're going to make a bunch of money. And you're going to make it off the rest of the community because you don't give a shit about the community. That's what it is. That's the bottom line, man. People that are holding pump and dump are only in it for themselves. Because they don't care about Pi, they don't care about the community, all they're interested in is getting us to dump it on the opening day, but dump it for nothing. So they can come in and buy it. Knowing what the true value of Pi is. Yeah. They know what the true value of Pi is. Yeah. And then they'll do whatever and get it up. But see, yeah, there's a problem with that. There really is a problem with that. Because if it were to happen, I would dump every coin that Pi has. I would dump it out, man. I'd just dump it out. I'd kill the project. I'd dump it all out. Man, so pie supply is big. I mean, right now it's distributed enough, and there's enough of a supply and quantity to get a true economy going. Yeah. And that's what pie is doing while it's developing. That's why we're here, to distribute pie around the world in a big enough quantity that the pie, when things are in place and we can use pie, we don't have to work, there's, right now I understand, there's nothing that we can do with pie. There's no places that we can buy pie with, whatever. Yeah, a couple of the small economies that have started through the pilots. Yeah, they're working. I mean, the two that I know that are selling for $100, or trading for $100, both of them are working. But they're too small. They're too small to override all the other garbage that's coming in. Yeah, all the other garbage that we've talked about since way back. The supply of pie is the size that it is to keep pie stable. That's why pie supply is the way it is. Okay? And I put out, if every person in the pie economy, 20 million people, made one transaction for that day at that value, that would be pie value. And what would happen, the millions of people that are coming in now would still have enough pie to make another transaction tomorrow. And another transaction tomorrow. Yeah, all we have to do is make one transaction a day at that value. That will be pie value. Yeah, that will be pie value. Yeah. So that's all it needs. We just need to make the transactions at whatever price we set. Right now, no, because they're talking a different game. They're talking a different game in a different place. Yes. Yes. If we establish pie value in the community, because that's what CORE has originally written in the white paper. Yeah, I know it's a kindergarten deal. No, it's not a kindergarten deal because most of these people out here can't read it. They don't understand it. Okay? So, if we hit the community, inside the community, that's where we have to start, inside the community. Forget about everything else from outside. From outside the community, that is outside. That is how the world works outside. That is how the money system works outside. Yeah. That it is. That's the way that system is set up. It's set up on debt, and it's set up on, we all know the system's broke. We all know we're getting screwed out of the system that we're using today. So, why bring it in the pie? If that system is broke, why bring a broken system into here? Because pie has the opportunity to fix the system for the community. Pie is not going to save the world. It's not meant to save the world. It's not meant to compete with any government. It's not meant. Pie is looking just to be a player in the present, in the future. That's all. It's not looking to replace anything. Okay? If you're coming into pie thinking pie is going to save your life and make you rich, and that you're going to get everything from pie, you're not. You're not. Pie is not designed that way. But what pie will do will give you a better standard of living than you have today. That's what pie will do. Yeah. Pie will raise the standard of living of everybody in the community. And see, the other issue is we do what we have to do in pie and do our job. We just have to do our job, and that is all it is making transactions. buying stuff at a value we agree upon. We agree upon. Screw everybody else outside. Because what they're thinking, what they're doing, is in the system that is outside. That's the way it operates outside. Inside the pie doesn't have to operate that way. No, it doesn't. Because as big as the community has gotten now, all we have to do is make one transaction a day at that price. That will be pie value. It will be pie value inside the community. It will. Okay. Well, what about this? What about that? What about, just make the transaction. Just make the transaction. Because once that value is set and we set it and we're moving, because the economy is moving money. The more we move the money, the more it changes hands, the more, all we're doing is passing around between us. But it's the movement. It's the amount of movement. It's the amount of movement inside the community that money's moving is what sets that value. And it's just a starting value. It's just a starting value. So everybody can use the pie, everybody can spend the pie, everybody can buy, because you have to want to use it. You have to want to use it. If you don't want to use it, you won't use it. And it won't move, and then, okay? And if you look at all the outside influence, and you go by all the outside influence, and you set pie price or value from the outside influence, you won't be able to use it. If you're not able to use it, you won't want to use it, and you won't use it. People are also forgetting or overlooking. We will get pie for life. For the rest of our life, we will have an income of pie. Maybe just a little bit, but we will have an income of pie for the rest of our lives. And all this stuff that's being put out about mining, stopping when we go to mainnet and all this other bullshit, no. Mining will go to 1 billion people. Okay? Mining will go to 1 billion people. So don't sweat mining. Okay? Don't sweat. It's in the Pioneer graph. It'll half again at mainnet. It'll half at 100 million, and it shows 0 at 1 billion. It'll go out that far. That's how Core wrote the Pioneer graph. And there's many, I think I've been through 3 or 4 halvings to get to this point. It's the same deal every halving. No, it will happen and it'll keep going. Mm-hmm. Because by the time we get out to 1 billion people, that economy has to scale with, as people coming in, that the economy has to scale with it. So there has to be coin. Well, Core has written enough coin, enough pie, for 100 million people. That's where that stops. So between 100 million and 1 billion, the only pie that they can get is from mining. Yeah. The only coin available for them is from mining. Okay. So if we want the community to get to 1 billion people, if they can't earn pie, why would you want to join? You have no reason. If you're not earning, why would I join? Okay. Now it may be a little bit. It may only be 1 or 2 pie a day or whatever, but they're earning that pie. We're all earning that pie from mining, the mining reward, being a pioneer and a contributor. Okay. Out to 1 billion people. And why that is? Because as the community and the economy scale up, you have to keep interjecting a little bit of coin to go with that scale. So the money supply inside scales with the scale of the community. Yeah. Yeah. As far as inside, supply doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Circulating supply doesn't matter on value of pie. No, because it's the money. It's the money. It's not a tool or an instrument to trade for other money. Pi is the money. Well, pi is the money. Now, see, the problem with the system that we use today is they keep printing more money. The dollar, the United States dollar, money system is built on a debt. It's built on a debt system. Basically, the U.S. economy, U.S. Treasury, the U.S. whoever's U.S. government, whatever that is controlling the money supply for the U.S. United States, is running a Ponzi scheme, big Ponzi scheme. Because a Ponzi scheme is like a pyramid scheme, and this started a long time ago. Because every year they have to borrow more to cover the debt that is left at the end of the year. They have to borrow more to cover that debt. Yeah, so they can pay that debt off, but then the debt gets bigger underneath. The next year they borrow more, and we're getting to a point to where they're almost out of room to be able to borrow what they need to cover the next year's debt. Okay. And the creation of money is the banks have to create debt to be able to expand the money supply, be able to keep their profits where they are. They have to create debt, and they have to get us to borrow to take on that debt. Yeah. When we take on that debt, the interest that we pay on that, the money we've borrowed, goes to central bank, goes to the whatever up top, the interest is paying off everybody up top. We're paying the interest, and we're paying these guys up top. That's how this system works. And with the bubbles and bubble creation and all that, with the housing market and with this market and stock market and this market, they're man-made bubbles. And they're to make profit. Same as the crypto exchanges. Make money as it flakes. Hopefully you get out before the bubble pops and everything's dropped back down and you start all over again. But the way we're going, and the easiest way to prove it, when the dollar came off the gold, when the dollar detached from the gold, the scheme was already going on before then, but when they detached the dollar from the gold, all the liquidity that everybody's talking about now, the liquidity in the dollar went gone because there was nothing backing it up. So the money that we're using today isn't worth anything. It's a piece of paper. It probably costs more to print that note than what that note is worth. And you can see it. And what's happening in the economy and in the today. Okay. Go back. I mean, I don't know how old some of you guys are. I was born in '60. I was born in '61. So I'm going back to the '60s. And I think it was 10. It would have been about the '70s, late '60s, early '70s. Okay. What you could buy for $1 back then would probably cost you close. I don't know, it's going way up. You're probably close to a $100 bill difference between what you could buy then and what you can buy now. Okay. So, because the dollar doesn't have the buying power, it doesn't have the value it used to have. Because is the dollar depreciated because of the money supply? Takes value away from the dollar. So we've scaled, but profit is what is really driving it. Anyway, so let's say in 1970, for $1, you could go get. I mean, you'd probably go get a pound of bologna, a gallon of milk, and a loaf of bread for $1. Yeah. I mean, I remember gas. I remember gasoline at 25 cents. 50 cents. I remember cigarettes at 50 cents. I mean, you could go into any store and buy soda for a nickel. For a nickel. Dime. Yeah. In the 70s. Yeah. And those are just, that's just simple things. But it was across the board. I can remember my mom and dad talking about like the houses that they were looking to buy and whatever. And a medium home was about between $30,000 and $50,000 then. Yeah. The same house today is probably $200,000. It's just a middle of the road house, middle income house, man. Yeah. I mean, cars. I remember buying my first used car, second used car, first or second used car, an old Galaxy 500. I paid $50 for it. Yeah, it was a used car. I bought it for $50. And I bought a Ventura. I think I only gave like $300 for a Ventura. And when I left Ohio, I bought a Chevy Impala for $350. That's what cars were going. Yeah, it's probably about a $7,000 or $8,000 car from then to now, because the dollar doesn't have the same value. So that creating that wealth, getting that wealth. Yeah, you have to get more. You have to get more paper. You have to get more to buy what. Okay. Okay. And everything, and capitalism isn't what it's all cracked up to be. The free market isn't cracked up to what it's all to be. Okay? Because everything is about taking profit. Everything is about maintaining that profit. Yeah. And that's why there are no investors in Pi. Yeah. Pi does not want investors in it. Because as soon as you get investors inside, then you have to answer to them. We want the investors outside. Because that's where the demand comes from. The demand on the crypto exchanges will come from those people. If Pi economy is strong, and we're moving Pi economy. I don't care what everybody says. We will set Pi value. All you gotta do is believe and trust in it. And the more you believe and trust, the more it's being used, and the more trusted it's being used, the more comfortable people get to using it. And you're not thinking, you just use it. Okay? It doesn't matter how big a stack somebody's got and what is it. It's about using it. It's about being able to use it. Okay? Those stacks will change. Because in the current crypto markets, people are trying to accumulate all that. They're trying to create that concentration of wealth. It can't happen. It can't happen in Pi. It's hard. As hard as they try, it can't happen in Pi. They won't. Because of how Pi is designed and set up. The coin will be distributed evenly across the board, across the community. Okay? The only way an accumulation of wealth can happen in Pi is you have to sell goods. You have to sell a service. You have to sell goods. You have to provide something that the community wants that is willing to pay you for. That's how wealth will be created in Pi. That's how wealth was created back with Carnegie and all those guys. They provided something that the community or the state or whatever it is, they provided a service that the people needed. The people were willing to pay for. They were willing to pay for whatever they were doing. That's how their wealth was generated. Yeah. Once they got to a point that they became powerful and wealthy, that's when the banking system started up. When these guys first started, there was no banking system. I mean, it was all okay. They created their wealth. They expanded their wealth by getting into the banking system or whatever. Okay? That's how that was created back then. Pi is at that same point. We are at that same point. Different point in history. And I'm not saying like as far as the government and all that stuff. To be able to get to have our financial freedom. Because now I'm also starting to believe why they're trying to keep this squashed and keep it trading the way that the crypto's trade now. Because Pi does have the ability the way it's designed, the way, because the nodes can't concentrate. The nodes will always be decentralized. The currency will always be decentralized. The ledger will always be decentralized. There's no way to get in and change that. If we go by what people are saying, and that's how it's going to be, we will still be under the control of the outside system. If we step it up and do what we need to do and create that value, that buying power value, we can get out from underneath that system. Because another way to look at it. Okay. Pie is money. The supply of pie is big enough to do what it needs to do for the community. Now, if the community understands, and for now, keep pie inside. Just keep it amongst us. Just keep it amongst us. Mm-hmm. And if we're keeping it amongst us, and we're buying and selling goods, and it's moving, and it's moving a lot. Inside the community, it's got to move a lot. The more it moves, the more it's moving, the more the transactions it's making, the more it's doing whatever, and the economy will be strong. It'll be strong. It will be okay. And to support that value, it comes from us first. If we trust it, believe it, use it every day. Just like we use paper money now, or credit cards like we do now. It would be the same. All we're doing is moving from one system to the other. The difference between that system and this system, that's built on debt. Somebody's paying interest on whatever money they're using out there. Crypto is not built on debt. It's a cash system. So you don't have to worry about accumulating debt that you can never get out from underneath. Yeah. Crypto is a cash system. Now, I've heard they're starting to get banking and DeFi and all that stuff. It's all banking. Okay? And bringing banking into crypto, I'm not for it. Because you've taken a cash system and now you may have turned it back into a debt system. Because if there's banking, there's going to be loaning. And if there's loaning, there's going to be interest. And somebody's going to have to pay that interest. And somebody's going to get rich off that interest. Yeah, I'm not for banking in crypto. Keep it a cash account. Okay? In my opinion. Us doing it's kind of like the security circles. We are securing our network. We are forming our economy. We are creating our economy. Everything else the core has been working on to this point, and once it goes live, is the foundation of that economy. Okay. We get to phase 3, and we get a coin. We get pies out, and we're doing whatever. Okay. The overall thing is a product, but what the product is that the actual coin. Then the foundation for the coin, the product is the protocol. And with Pi being the way it's designed, the way it's written, and all that other stuff, that will bring major value to the Pi community, to the Pi currency. And then you put the dApps that are on top of it. Now, if you want a comparison, look at Ethereum. Look at everything that's been written off of Ethereum, and that's what's driving Ethereum value up. Their exchange price up. Okay, Pi will have the same capability to build the same things on each protocol. So the dApps are being worked on now. That does it right there. That should be enough to cement it down. And liquidity, don't count Pi out of liquidity. Don't count it out of liquidity. Because what we voted on way back when, the ads, everybody's saying that Core is stealing the ad money, and they're taking this for the ad money, and they're doing this with the ad money. No. I believe they're paying monthly bills. They're covering their monthly costs. They're making sure there's enough cash to get pie to the end. And the extra, I'm sure. Now, I know that there's another, like a parent company or whatever it is, okay, that is worth X amount of money. But all of that money that we're generating from the ads supplies liquidity to the currency. We got all of the pieces needed. So, no, we will set by value. Okay. I know you don't believe what I'm saying. Okay. I know people are trying to keep it pump and dump. Definitely don't like what I'm saying. No, it doesn't have to go there. Okay, and all these people are trying to hold pie down, and being total supply and circulating supply and all this other stuff. Okay, it's to keep that down, to keep that price down. But see, they're not. They're missing a piece. They're missing a piece, or they're expecting something that isn't going to be there. Now, it will be if they put it there. Okay. And after reading Coinbase and stuff, I don't think pie will list right out of the box, but it won't take with the economy because it'll be based on the economy. It'll be based on the economy. The Coinbase will pick pie up. But the only pie that will be on that exchange is whoever goes and trades on that exchange. Whatever, as an individual, you go to the exchange with your stack of pie. That's the only pie at that point that's going to be on there. Now, granted, I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people who are going to do it as soon as they can. But it's limited to what they have. That's what's going to be on the exchange. There's no pie going into the exchange from inside the community. Core is not putting any pie on any exchanges to trade. So the trading that they're looking to do, they're going to have to create by using their pie to put it on there. Otherwise, if there's no pie on the exchange, what's the trade? Okay? And if they were smart enough, yeah. But anyway, yeah, there is no pie. There's no pie going to the exchange unless we put it there. If you stay here and use your pie in here and don't mess with the exchange, they're not getting your pie. And see, another thing about these traders, they don't want us to set pie value. They don't. Because they don't want to pay $100 pie. If we have a value inside the community and there's no pie on the exchange, there's no pie to trade on the exchange. Well, if there's no pie to trade on the exchange, the exchange price will come up. They will raise it. Traders don't want it to raise. No. And yeah, they want to buy pie as low as they can get it. They want. I wouldn't know. No. The exchange would probably be part of the economy, but it's not pie economy. And okay, the choice is ours. The choice is ours. No, the choice is yours. The choice is yours. Each one of us has a choice. It's what choice you make. It's what choice you want to make. It's what choice you want to make. That's about all. That's about all that can be said. We each have to make a choice. We each have to make a decision. It's what decision you want to go with, and then we'll see. After that, only time will tell. Yeah. And we're starting to get to a point that we're gonna have to ride it out and see what happens, and then pick up the pieces and whatever. If there's enough pieces to pick up, dust it off and then go from there. Yeah. But just think about what. You don't have to believe me. Just think about what I said. Put it together for yourself. Connect the dots for yourself. See what's going on. See, see the big picture. Don't just look at the snapshot. There's a big picture. Look at the big picture. Everything is involved. Make up your own mind. You know, because I don't know what else to say. I mean, and I know I'll be told that I'm wrong, but I see what they're doing. I know what they're doing. They've done it for almost every project that's come up, and they've killed probably most of the projects that come up in that because a lot of these coins can't ride out that initial pump and dump, whatever. They can't. Once it gets down, they can't. They have trouble surviving because they don't have a community big enough to support it. Yeah. We have a community big enough to do what we need to do. So just think about it. Just think about it, and you gotta make your own choice. All right, man.